through with this. I did something real weird, Pastor. I began to talk to the bird land. My wife may think I'm crazy now, but I began to shut up in the living room and act as if I was talking to the bird. I said, now, bird, you got to help me because I need to preach a word that's real and relevant to New Jerusalem. And they're going to look at me crazy like my wife is looking at me crazy now. But I need you to tell me why in the world would you obey God to go down and feed the preacher at the Brook? As I read the scripture, it was as if the bird began to talk to me. He said, if you remember the last time that I was mentioned in the Bible, it was in the book of Genesis. And it was then that the other prophet, the other preacher, Noah, had given me an assignment. He told me to fly and check out the landscape of the land and see if I found some dry land and report back. And the last time I disobeyed what God told me through the prophet, I got so excited about finding dry land, I never returned back to the prophet Noah. And guess what? Ever since then, things have been going down for me. So if God's going to turn things around for me, now I'm going to do what God told me to do. You see, sometimes you can't try to sit up and figure out why am I going to help somebody else when I got my own struggle. Sometimes you got to do what the mother Jesus said. Whatever my son said. Somebody said, just do it. Oh, yes, sir. So the bird said this. So when it comes to morning and evening, I'm going to bring bread and flesh in the morning and bread and flesh in the evening. Why? Because if I take care of God's business, God will take care of mine. I need to check the roll here in New Jerusalem. How do you know that if you want to increase in your life, you got to do some sowing and some reaping. If you want God to put some in your hand, you got to give up some out of you. I wish I had somebody. You got to make up your mind and listen here. If God told me to do it, I just got to learn. I wish I had somebody. Some people miss our blessings because we're worried about our helping somebody else. But can I tell you what real ministry is? Real ministry is about helping somebody else rather than myself. Won't you touch a neighbor and say, neighbor, you need me and I need you. If you get in a jam, tell a Pharaoh, that means I can stand in the gap and help you. And guess what? If I keep on living, God will turn that thing around and I'm going to need you. I want you to tell somebody we need one another. Oh, the bird said, God told me to help the preacher. And so I went down faithfully to the brook every day, morning and evening. How do you know that's a blessing? When you stand in the gap for the man and go, oh, I wish I had somebody. You need to know that God can bring increase in your life. And the reason I know He will is because the birds fed in bread and flesh in the morning and the evening. But can I tell you something? I don't care how good you can have it, that things are subject to change. I mean, no thing can go along so smooth. You look like your bills are paid. Your children are acting like they got some sense. Then all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose in your life. Your job start acting funny. Your children start acting funny. And before you know it, you are in a dry situation. But can I tell you what to do? When you are in a dry situation, take your eyes off your situation and look to the God who makes all the difference in your life. Some of us, we're looking at the wrong person. We're looking at somebody else to bring us joy. We're looking for somebody else to fix our situation. And the only one that can fix it is the one that was born in Galilee. I said the one that was real in Galilee. You know who He is, don't you? I mean, know that Jesus can fix it. I mean, know Jesus don't fix it, it can't be fixed. But that's what they did. He said after a while the brook dried up. Can I throw this at you? I don't care how good you live. I don't care who your pastor is. I don't care where you go to church. Some trouble is going to find where you live. It doesn't mean that God isn't with you. It's just a chance for you to prove to God that you can trust Him dried up. I'm going to throw this at you, and I got about 7 more minutes. Don't y'all try to cut it no short. 7 minutes. Listen to down right, Pastor. A dirty bird. A dry brook. Then when he gets to Zerubbabel, he finds a depleted barrel. And then he ultimately finds a dying boy. Look at it again. I told you about the dirty birds. God uses strange things. That's why we ought to be careful about trying to tell God who he can use and how he can. Listen here. Don't let nobody limit you at what God has given for you to do. You may not sing in the choir, but that don't mean you can't sing. Shame on you if you don't open your mouth. You may not sound like everybody else, but you can make a joyful noise. And even if you don't think you can hold a tune in a basket, you ought to at least wave your hand. You ought to be able to testify. He's been good to me. I said you ought to be able to testify. And then secondly, not only, yes, do we see the strange birds, but then we see, yes, the dry brook. That means jobs going to play off. That means that situations are going to change. But if you've got a relationship with God, even when the brook is dry, how many know that sometimes God lets some stuff dry up in order to move you to the next place? Oh, I wish I could stay there a while and preach that. You see, some things God has allowed to dry up, Pastor Curtis, in my life. Not that he's not with me. He just said it's time to move on now. You see, sometimes God says you can't keep a caged bird in a cage too long. Sometimes God's trying to teach us how to fly. So God says, get up now. It's time to get out your little comfortableness. It's time for me to teach you how to fly. Oh, I thank God. I got a son who's getting ready to graduate high school. He received an academic scholarship to SFA. And there were other schools around the country. Oh, my wife been saying it's a battle to let the son go. But the reality is, I know it's a battle. But the good news is, he was never ours. He was just on loan. He belonged to God. That means you teach your children all you can teach them. And then there's going to come a time you got to learn how to trust them, to believe in what you taught them. In other words, at one age, you talk to them about God. And after a while, start talking to God about it. I said, at one age, you keep talking to them. Tell them God loves you. Tell them do right and you will win. That means you're talking to them about the things of God. But then there will come a time they will turn a deaf ear to what you say about God. It ain't time to stop praying. That's time to refocus your praying. That's the time you start talking to God about your children. How many know that prayer works? How many know that it ain't over until God says that it's over? So when the brook dried up, God raised Elijah up and to go to Zerubbabel. Now here's the message, Pastor. When one thing play out, God always has somebody else to stand in the gap to do what was done over there. He'll get it done over here. Well, you know my story, don't you? I spent years building a multi-million-dollar ministry. And after I finished, God says your time is up. It's time to move on up to Tyler. Hook up with James Curtis and the New Jerusalem church family. I know y'all looked at me like I'm crazy, and some of you still looking at me like I'm crazy. But that's all right. God gave me the assignment, and I know my place. My place is behind the man of God. Oh, I know some folks think I'm waiting in the gap. The only thing I'm waiting on is the Lord.